It's time to sit down and relax for the good, the bad, and the sequel Q&A with your host, Doug.
Hey there, Doug here. Hope you're staying safe, and thank you to all the essential workers out there. If you're an essential worker and listening, thank you. If you know one, say, hey, this guy named Doug that I listened to his podcast, he said thank you. Could be awkward, but who cares? Okay, so I hope this week's interview can really help you escape. It's with an amazing actress. She was in everything in the 70s and the 80s. Took some time off to raise her family, and now she's back, and she's been in a lot of stuff, and that's Kristine Debell. You know her from Meatballs in the role of AL, and also she was in movies like The Main Event, Blood Brothers, Battle Creek Brawl, one of Jackie Chan's first American movies. She has some cool stories about working lines with him. And then recently, she's in a lot of stuff too. We interviewed her for next week's film, which is Samurai Cop 2, Deadly Vengeance, which is amazing. You have to watch the first one. Before you watch the second one, you really don't have to, but trust me, it's amazing. And remember, Samurai Cop 2, you can find it on Tubi. It's free. Just got to watch some ads, but who cares? But now, it's time to listen to our interview with the amazing Kristine Debell. Well, this is awesome to be able to chat with you. I'm a huge fan. I grew up, my dad showed me Meatballs at a very young age, and we watched it a lot.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Okay, so I'm assuming then your dad was my age or something. Oh, no, because it's like I'm so used to people seeing it when they were 11, and then they're fans, right? Or they were, yeah, whatever. That's awesome, dude. It's the cutest movie. What's not to love about that movie?
No, I love it.
I'm shocked when people say they've never seen Meatballs. It's like, are you kidding me? You've never seen Meatballs? It's on every summer.
I know, you have to say it. And the song gets stuck in your head after you watch the movie.
I know. Well, I realize that I've had certain opportunities of late where someone will say, oh, I can't believe this happened, blah, blah. And I say, it just doesn't matter. So I keep imagine it's happened 3 times. And then I'm like, okay, they didn't get it. Whatever.
Well, this is awesome. What I like to do with these is find out how people got started in acting. And I see you're from upstate New York. Is that right?
Yep.
Awesome. So growing up in upstate New York, at what age did you say like, hey, I want to get into acting, or what started that?
Well, I was actually studying voice for years. So
okay.
I was a singer first, and then I was in the school play because it was a musical, The Sound of Music. And then what happened is that year, my 9th grade year, right? And I think I played Marta, one of the little girls, right? So in Sound of Music. So that year, the Maccaden Theater, which is actually still in Chatham, New York, came to New York, and their last show was, Summer Stock Musical Theater in the Round. Their last show was The Sound of Music, so I auditioned for the part of Martha, or the little girl, and they said, "Wow, that was amazing, but your voice is way too mature to play a little girl." Obviously, because I'd studied voice a lot, so for years. So they said, we'll cast you as the naughty postulant. So I was the naughty postulant. And then so I went on to do 4 years, every summer, my 4 years of high school, every summer I did all the shows at the Maccaden Theater. So I did a lot of summer stock. I know every show. I can sing the songs from many. I was I was the Moorish dancer and fiddler. Maybe I'm thinking of, okay, whatever. But so, yeah, and mostly chorus parts, obviously. They brought up, larger named people, which is funny now looking back, because who the hell don't know who they were from New York. They cast in New York for the bit larger parts, and then the locals got to play the smaller parts. And and so that began, but I didn't really think of myself as an actor at that point, or I don't remember that. I did that. And then I tell the story that at one point I saw a photograph of Twiggy, and I was, grew up in the va-va-va-voom era, I call it, where girls were very, shapely and buxom, and I was very tall, thin, with absolutely no breasts. So I was like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do when you look like this. Very unpopular, no boyfriends, no one was going to date a girl that didn't have large breasts in the early 70s, whatever. So, anyway, so I went to New York to model for Eileen Ford, and then got into acting after that.
What was that first step to go from like New York into acting? Was it somewhere in the city you were acting?
Yeah, no. I ended up meeting some people and coming out to California and starting that way. But what's funny is when I came out here, I was obviously could sing, and then I got this voice teacher, and he's like, I'm going to take your 4 octaves through and, get your belt voice through your 4 octaves, which I guess he was a really bad teacher because nobody does that. So for 3 months, I could not talk. I had to write everything down. I got notes. And so I've never really sung since then, right? I mean, I consider myself a shower singer now. But yeah, I sing in the shower. And and there you go. Stopped modeling, started acting.
So what was your first gig that you had acting wise when you got out there? IMDb has Alice in Wonderland, but it was something before that?
No. And the thing is that's obviously how I got my start, but I don't like to talk about that movie. I've actually just had the opportunity.
It's okay.
No. Listen, I've had the opportunity in a documentary, and there may be, I'm working on a film coming out that explains like my Me Too moment. I mean, this whole thing that, I didn't do anything in that film. And the one thing that I did do was I was forced to do.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Scary. It's really, yeah. But I mean, it's over. I mean, I don't have any, so, whatever. So I don't like to talk about the movie because it's like, everyone's like, this is the classic line that cracks me up. And I'm just going to say it because, now that we've gone there, somebody said to me, wow, dude, in a message on my fan page, wow, I just saw you in a porno. What other pornos have you done? You were great. It's like, oh my God. So it's like, yeah, I guess to some people I'm just a porno star.
Jesus.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, whatever. So that is how I auditioned for a film that I thought was a regular film, and then end up getting the lead, and then finding out it's not a regular. And actually, some of it I didn't even know till much later. A lot of that footage was added a year later. It was filmed when I wasn't on the set. I had no idea. Right? Yeah, it was pretty, anyway. So, but that's how I started. And in a way, what happened is that film had 3 minutes cut out of it and really became well known, the reason as an R-rated film. So it was like, wow. So everyone, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I became popular, as that film having an R rating. Because, and also thinking back, I thought, years later when I realized, I'm like, oh, well, it'll just be behind a black curtain somewhere. I never have to worry. And then came the internet in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's like, whatever. It's past history, but sometimes it's fun to tell the story. I mean, it's not, whatever. It is what it is, and I don't feel I'm over it. Right? It's so I've made my peace with it. It was a long time ago, but so that I believe that may have opened doors for me, but some bigger doors. But for the most part, I just got an agent and started auditioning like any other. And then to go back to your original question, what happens is I actually did The Young and the Restless in 1980, in the 80s, 81, I think. And I was on there for a year. But what happens is after 20 years, it gets archived. So it goes to the beginning of it was archived and ended up, and I'm like, wait a minute, what does it matter to IMDb? Shouldn't it still be in chronological order? And yeah, who knows? It's something about it being archived.
Oh, really?
No
how many? Yeah. Oh, so you're on it for a year. So that's a lot of episodes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was on for, it was fun. They found out I could cry on cue. They loved me. I actually had done been on for like a little summer supplement, a small part, and they found out I could cry on cue. And the executive producers is, get that Debell girl back, in here right now. So I got this great part, and it was like every day. I was like, she cries, she cries, she cries. It was like with Rose, or she was a madam and we were hookers, and they love casting against type. It's like, oh, what do you play? I played a hooker. You don't look like, okay, yes, I know. Anyway, so it was hilarious. I'm like, you guys, what if the tears dry up? And they start laughing. The crew, they're like, it's not going to dry up.
That's so awesome. So were you a fan of those shows? Did you ever watch them like growing up at all, or?
No, the only one. Well, no, yes and no. I was not the only one I was a fan of. I was not a real soap person. Was Dark Shadows, because that's I love like vampires, and I'm a fantasy adventure geek, and so I love Dark Shadows. So I did watch that. Barnaby, was that his name? Barnabas Collins. Yeah. But then when I moved away, I had my kids. I wanted to raise them back east, and I accidentally turned on the show to quote unquote see what my friends were doing, and then I'm like hooked in the story like anyone else. I'm like, Kristine, stop it! You can't give up your day at 1 o'clock or whatever to watch The Young and the Restless. Stop it right now. Yeah.
So I guess just before that, so in the beginning of your career, you had like a lot of guest starring roles on shows. You were in a movie called Rooster, Blood Brothers. Yep. So you were working a lot right away. No, I was. And it's really was just auditioning. Some of them were guest starring, right? I did a Chips, that's right there. Yeah.
Rooster was with Rooster actually with Ruta Lee, and so guest starring. 8 is enough, right? And then what was the one you asked me about? You said Rooster and something else.
Oh no, Blood Brothers.
Oh yeah, no, Blood Brothers was huge, dude. That was a Warner Brothers film. And it was it's like I joke now. It's like, I was in Richard Gere's first film. I played his girlfriend. I was in Jackie Chan's first film. I played his girlfriend. I was, I wasn't Bill Murray's girlfriend on screen. No, I'm just teasing. That was a joke. And I wasn't his girlfriend either.
That's awesome. But so here is, so we'll get to Meatballs. How did that come about? Do you remember like that audition and everything surrounding?
No, dude, I don't. I just remember auditioning for a part, and for a part in this movie, because it's like you just go on so many auditions. It's like, who can remember? Because it seemed like you could go on 12 auditions and you'd be lucky if you get one part or more. Sometimes I had 4 auditions a day. I'd be changing clothes in a coffee shop's bathroom because I had to be dressed in the character of the next audition. And so I just remember auditioning. I don't really remember that much about it. The next thing I know, I got the part. And it was just, I don't know, it was any other, it was like, oh, okay, I got another B movie, and I don't think I thought of it in that way. I mean, I was thrilled to have a part and be in another movie. I'm trying to think what even movie I was in before that. Was that my first movie, Meatballs?
Roosters before that. Blood Brothers was before that, and then
okay.
The main event and Meatballs came out in the same year.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the main event I remember because I was cast by Barbara Streisand, and I got the opportunity to
that's
speak
awesome.
with her. She wanted to meet me, and we talked about. She did theater also in upstate New York. And, and I was a singer, and I'd always looked up to her, and it was like, oh my God, I can't believe I met Barbara Streisand. You know what I mean? So that audition I do remember. Yeah.
That's so cool. So Meatballs, that was filmed in Canada, right?
Yep. Yeah, there were a few of us that came from Todd Hoffman, who played my boyfriend Wheels.
Yeah.
I think Crockett, the guy, he came from New York. And and then so 3 Bill 4 of us, and then the rest were Canadian actors. My friend Kate Lynch. Yeah, no, it was so much fun. I mean, that's everybody. It's you hear what it's like to be on set. You go away for 6 weeks, and it becomes like this family, and you all have the best time, and you swear you'll stay friends, and sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't, right? But I do remember. Here's a very funny story. Bill and I, stayed friends, and my girlfriend is sleeping at my house. I'm out partying. I don't really remember. She tells the story better than I. So she's and she hears a pounding on the door. She's like, it's like, Chris, let me in. It's Bill. She goes, who? It's Bill Murray. She's like, yeah, right. And so she told him to go away. So she said, I came home in the morning. I'm like, oh my God, did Bill come by last night? She goes, that was Bill Murray.
What year was this?
Probably the year after.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is it true? Like when you were casting that movie, did you know like Bill Murray was, or did you know who he was then? I'm sure from SNL.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I do remember watching SNL, but it was kind of new, and he was new to it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because I remember I was an SNL fan, but I did not know that he was cast in it. I know that for sure because, Ivan tells the story, or it was told, because I went to like a 35th anniversary. It was a fundraiser for International Hunger Kids for International. Okay, whatever. I'll think of it later when I'm not and I'm not going to take time to look it up. I just thinking about it. International something for hunger. Okay, whatever. So who was there? So a lot of the, a lot of the people from the cast, not the cast so much, as also the crew, and everyone was talking about it. And they were not sure. Ivan would have been there, but he was scouting some film location. And anyway, they did not think Bill was going to, they didn't know. They were like, that's who he was. Right? Ivan had said, come on, Bill, I want you to do this movie. And he had not said yes or no. So they hadn't even cast the part. They were hoping he would show up. And like on day 2 or 3, he showed up filming. They just started filming without him. And Ivan was, a wing and a prayer. He was like, he'll come, don't worry. And I guess that's kind of, Bill has sort of stayed that way, right? I mean, doesn't he have a phone where people, if they have an idea for a film, they call it up? I don't know.
Yeah. No, there's the same story for Ghostbusters. Netflix has a documentary series. They only have like 4 movies, but it's called Movies That Made Us. And Ivan tells the same story. Like him and Harold had no idea if he was going to show up. And the same thing happened for Ghostbusters. Like he showed up, he wasn't talking to anybody. And then he just like magically showed up day 1 and didn't read the script until that day. And then obviously everything worked out, but.
Isn't it? And it didn't read the script. I'm sure the same thing happened on Meatballs. Meatballs,
yeah.
Right? Remember the opening scene where he's standing over this trash can, ripping up the thing, saying the rules will be in here if you want to see him. Well, that's what he did with the script, basically. I mean, it was all improvisation, which I love. I'm better at anyway. But it's like, and let me tell you, the scene in the girls' cabin where we sneak out and we all pop on? That's my idea. I'm like, let's do this, you guys. Why don't we say, it was crazy. It was awesome. It was so fun. I remember being very cold that night, though. Whatever. Yeah. So there was a skeleton script, I guess. So I'll bet you he works like that, right? It's like, oh yeah, I've got an idea what's the script. I mean, that just doesn't matter. So he made that up in his head as he went along.
It seems like when you watch him in movies, it seems like a lot of it is improvised. Even before I talked to you today, I watched most of Meatballs, and just that opening scene when he is when he's talking to the reporter when the buses are showing up, and he talks about like the sexual awareness week, and that is like the whole movie. It's such a great, cool movie. I actually, because this podcast that I do, that this will be on, is for the most part, we interview people that are in movie sequels. And I actually interviewed, I don't know if you ever saw any of the Meatball sequels, but we interviewed a guy that was in Meatballs 3. He actually went on to like do a bunch of voice characters. He was a voice of Beast on like an X-Men animated series on Fox. But I love X-Men. Yeah, so he was the voice of Beast on the cartoon in the 90s. And the thing that was cool about him, they filmed that in Canada. secluded, kind of like, I'm sure the same way you guys did, low budget.
Yep.
And
Yep.
he has the greatest memories in it. And in the movie, it's one of Patrick Dempsey's first movies, and he actually plays Rudy all grown up.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I never saw any others. No, because I thought mine was the best. No, I'm just teasing. I don't know when they came out. I was too busy. I had three boys in diapers, and I wasn't paying attention.
No, so that's awesome. So you just mentioned before you had like you're the on-screen girlfriend of so many people. So that was Jackie Chan's first movie?
Yes, he had worked in China.
In the States.
First American film.
Wow.
Yeah, in the States. And the killer is about that. It's like Raymond Chow. They loved me so much, which is so weird. Like, a friend of mine was driving somewhere and he slammed on his brakes and I went through the windshield and I end up at UCLA with, a scar. Thank God. Gosh, I guess that night I was told, yeah, he wanted to marry me too, that doctor. Isn't that interesting? I said, no. happened to be a plastic surgeon on, that night and stitched up and they waited to film that. I mean, they could have cast anybody else. They waited for me, for my eye to heal before they filmed.
Wow, you had something. They loved you.
Crazy, right? Yeah, I guess. I forgot about that. I'm like, wait a minute. I remember this. They waited for me. That's odd.
That is so cool.
Yeah, no, it was so much fun. And that was 6 weeks in San Antonio.
So what was that like, being in a movie like that?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, he's unbelievable. He does all of his own stunts. I mean, it's like watching him, even in the opening. It's like, when I look, it's just but I must say that I did spend most of my evenings, working with him on the line. It's like, no, we'll try this. It's whatever. But we rehearsed. And I was like, no, try to say it like this. Okay, whatever.
I'm sure not every person in the world would take the time to do that at night when they're off the clock. So that's really neat.
Yeah, well, you would want to oftentimes, I think. I mean, you want to run the lines with the fellow actor. But I kind of they kind of wanted me to help him with that. I mean, that's what I remember feeling. But it's like, whatever. I don't mind. I didn't mind. It's like I got to work on the lines anyway. But that was a fun movie.
Yeah, right. And if you look at your IMDb, you're always working. If you look at for those years from when you started, you always had like movies coming out, and you were like pretty much almost like top billed in every one, like Life Pod, Tag, Assassination Game.
Oh, and you know what? The Tag was never going to come out. This friend of mine is a film like archivist. I mean, he knows everything. He was on that show Beat the Geek, and he was the geek.
Oh, no.
Remember that show?
Oh, I love that show.
Yes, Mark Hoyk. He was the geek. I could tell another funny story about that. So anyway, he said that the two people that owned Tag were in a bitter battle about ownership or, whatever. And people kept saying, it will never be re-released. People would say to me, I'd say, nope, I heard it's never going to be re-released. They can't, it's never going to happen. It just happened.
Really?
They made up. Yes, it's going to be re-released. So fans, I know there are many fans out there that were like, please let Tag, it's my favorite film, please let it be re-released. I'm like, nope, not going to happen. Now I can say it is.
That's awesome. A good cast. Great. Robert Carradine, Linda Hamilton, Michael Winslow. That is really awesome. I want to check that out. So I'll put that on my list to be able to check it out. And then you're on Night Court. Oh, Madeline.
Okay, yeah, that was awesome. So no, hold on. Let me go back. Let me tell the Mark
Night Court
story.
Oh yeah.
The Mark Hoyk. So the Beat the Geek story. So I don't know anything. I'm out here. My agent says to me, this guy wants to interview you. So we happen to be out here for a wedding from New York. And my guys now are like teenagers. Are they in college or teenagers? I can't remember. They're older. Maybe they're in college because one of them's I don't know. Anyway, so they said, I was to meet him at the Grove. And they're like, you are not going to the Grove by yourself to meet some guy that you do not know. We're coming with you. Now, my boys are 6'5", 6'4". I'm like, okay, we're going to come with me. So we go to the Grove. We meet Mark Hoyk. And they're standing there like so quiet. And so we have a conversation. We agree to do the interview. He's a nice guy. We've stayed friends. We're great friends now. So So anyway, we go walk back to the parking lot, the Grove parking lot, to get in the car. And they look at me, they go, Mom, he's on Beat the Geek. They're like, oh my God, we can't believe that the biggest fan is a fan of yours. Because I guess that's what he was called on the show, the biggest fan. So that was pretty funny. I'm like, yeah.
That's so awesome. So your kids were able to geek out with somebody that liked you. That's really awesome.
Yeah, they were totally geeked out. No, the cutest story. I'll just tell you one more cute story. And I think I've told this before, but I can't help myself. So Meatballs comes out on Blu-ray. And I'm living in Williamstown, Mass. And my son's in elementary school. My youngest is in elementary school. I don't forget what grade, second grade, third, that, oh, Mom, it's so embarrassing age. So I say to some of my girlfriends, I'm like, you guys, why don't you come over? We'll have dinner. We'll make dinner. We'll watch Meatballs. They're like, yes, because a lot of them, my friends had not seen it. So he pulls me aside. He goes, Mom, this is so embarrassing. I can't believe you're having people over to watch you on television. I'm like, oh, Harry, shush, whatever. Whatever. So then I swear a week later, he's in the back seat or he goes, oh my God, Mom, you're on HBO. It was embarrassing to be playing it for my friends, but when it came on HBO, oh my God, now I'm a big deal.
Then you're cool.
Yeah. Yeah, then I'm cool. That's exactly right. Yeah.
So this is a question I like to ask people, especially you just mentioned that. When you were on shows, when you started out, did you enjoy watching yourself?
No, not at all. No, and I don't think most actors. I mean, I don't know many actors that, it's like sometimes you want to see the performance. Like Meatballs, I don't mind now because I don't know, but a lot of the times it's like I didn't, and possibly because a lot of my stuff wasn't that serious and it was comedy and it's fun, but like Blood Brothers wasn't really. But I didn't enjoy it because it's like, as a person, I try not to say, like, even now, it's like when I make a film now, I made some films with a friend of mine, Dave Dakota, and I'm like, okay, the old ladies on the set, bring in the hot lights. You know what I mean? We've got wrinkles here. And, I don't know. It's just like, it's hard for me to look at myself. I'm not so keen on it. But sometimes I get caught up in the character and then that's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I'm just looking at myself, honestly, I just did this film and it was really cool. This filmmaker wanted to remake The Exorcist, but he wanted to make me, the nun, do the exorcisms. So I'm doing the Max von Sydow part. And so it's dark and it's kind of cool. I mean, it's a B movie, but whatever, straight to video, but that's what happens when you get older. So anyway, I'm making this movie and I'm watching it. And my friend afterwards was like, oh my God, she said, your acting was fierce. And I'm like, really? Because all I saw was in the dark. It looked like I was 107 years old. I'm like, all I saw was my wrinkles. I'm like, oh my God, I look like I'm 107. Yeah, but so anyway.
So I would not get discouraged. Like movie wise, and when there was like video stores and there'd be like more movies used to make it into the movie theater. If you notice, like weekly, not a lot of movies come out. So there is like that outlet. I think I know the phrase like B movie, but there's so many outlets to get movies out there.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely now. But a lot, like Dave has his own distribution company and he has his own streaming service now. So people can,
wow.
So yeah. And, people can subscribe and see all, because, it's like some people love that kind of, that genre of, yeah, no, absolutely. That's, and I've talked about that recently as well to young filmmakers and young actors. It's like it used to be, it was all about the union. You were in the union. That's it. You made union films. And if you couldn't do that, then you were, can I say shit?
Yeah.
Shit out of luck. Right. So now you've got kids making films on their iPhone and taking them to, or this one kid, everybody, I don't know, but I know it happened, to festivals, or, you can pitch net. It's, now there's Apple TV, Netflix, Hulu. It's just changed for everyone. It's changed so much, the business, and in a good way. in a good way.
Yeah, no, that's true. No, I do miss going to the video store. Obviously, it's the same kind of thing, but there was like something beautiful. Even looking at like the movie poster for like Meatballs and like Tag. Like I haven't seen that movie, but the cover art when you were in there, you used to be able to be sold on, hey, you know what? I'm going to rent this movie because it looks cool. You know?
Yeah. No, true. Yeah, you're right. See, especially posters. I have a friend that collects them, all posters, especially Italian. Because I guess back in the day, a lot of posters, when they went to Italy, they were done by famous artists, the posters. And so he started collecting them as a kid. And but no, I totally get what you're saying. I used to go to the video store. It was so much fun.
Oh yeah. No, it was so cool because there were some movies that would get a shot that you would never, watch nowadays, and you just accidentally stumble across maybe your favorite film.
No, absolutely. And like even now though, you've got, Netflix, Amazon, and then all of a sudden I've binge watched every Fantasy Adventure, and then I'm like, His Dark Materials and this, and then I totally forgot about this one. I just saw it. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about that. It's on Amazon. It's another fancy. Yay, I get to watch that one now. I just saw it. I don't know where I saw it.
So acting wise, you took some time off. What made you want to get back into it?
Well, I don't know. I just always thought I would. I mean, I wanted to raise my guys back east. I go back east, my guys are older. And the thing is that I might have come back earlier, but I kind of had an oops in my 40s, which would be son number 4. So that delayed it a bit. And then he's like, wait a minute, we're moving to California. I said, yeah, dude, sorry, I got to drag you with me. It's little. And he's like, what? But he likes it now. He's got friends, and he's got his Cali friends and his, Mass New York friends. So.
Nice. Well, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd always thought, I would go back at some point, and then you don't realize how hard it is. A lot of my friends that stayed in the business, it's hard. It is hard coming back. And as we just discussed, it had changed so much, the industry.
Oh,
but
yeah.
thereby there was other stuff. I tell the story of my first Dave Dakota film. When I came out, just before I'd gotten an agent, I've had a few. I have one I like now, but I'm like, oh my God, I can join this website and I can submit myself for projects. That's totally cool. So I submit myself for this film, and I hear back instantly. He goes, are you available? And I'm like, yeah, I'm available to read. Yeah. When, where? And he said, read. I know who you are. Can I send you a script? And so then we did 5 or 6 films together.
That is so awesome. What was the first one that you did with him?
A Halloween Puppy with Eric Roberts.
Eric Roberts. That's pretty cool. How was that?
Halloween. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, he's the greatest. He made a few of them. We made a few films together.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. So that's what I thought.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking, you got to think the times that he was starring movies, so were you. Like in the same time, Pope of Greenwich Village is like, what year is that?
Yeah,
like 83, 84?
Classic.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's awesome. And Lisa London, I interviewed her like a month or 2 ago, and you were both in Samurai Cop 2, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Lisa's a good friend. She's awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. She was super cool.
Yeah, she's the best. Yep. She and I hang out together quite often. We're friends. And,
that's awesome. Yeah, we were talking, and she started talking about her singing career. That was pretty cool. I was like,
oh,
wow.
Yeah, you didn't know that? Yeah, she was in
No, and I knew the songs. Yeah, I
you did? Wow.
Yeah, I knew one of them. She told me the one that was like more of the hit, the one that was like the poppy hit that was on the charts. But that was pretty cool. So what are some things that you're working on right now that are coming out?
Not much. I'm taking a little. I don't. They come. A friend is working on, we want to do a sci-fi. We're both sci-fi nuts. So he's working on the guy who wrote Drugstore Cowboy.
Oh yeah.
Daniel.
So one question I have for you, you said you love sci-fi. Is there any other genres that you've always wanted to act in? I know you were in a few sci-fi movies just 1 or 2 in the 80s, right?
Yeah. The one, Life Pod.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think that might have been it.
Where did your love for sci-fi come from?
Oh my gosh. I was I only read, Childhood's End was my first. It's like I've read besides fantasy adventure, which my boys and I are into now, but I used to be a sci-fi nut. My dad started to think, like, I just watched Lost in Space because when I was a kid, Star Trek, are you kidding me? It was my favorite show. Lost in Space came out when I was in the 5th grade. Total space nerd. I remember walking out. I grew up on this dark road in the middle of nowhere in the country. I remember walking up towards the cemetery saying, okay, pick me up. I'm ready. Let's go. Just come down. I'll be one of those, abduct me. I'm ready. But no, so I'm watching the reboot of Lost in Space. And my guys are like, Mom, it's not that good. And I'm watching it. And all of a sudden I'm like, I'm a huge Sean Williams fan. Huge. And I'm like, who? Oh, and I stopped for a second. I'm listening to the music, and I'm like, who is this guy that is copying John Williams? How dare he? Who the F does he think he is? he sounds just like John Williams. And I am so incensed that someone would copy John Williams' style that I looked it up that second, and it says, oh, when Netflix purchased Lost in Space, 1965, they also purchased all of John Williams' original music.
That's smart.
It's like crazy. And here I am so angry. So now it's like the boys are like, Mom, you're still watching Lost? I said, of course I am. I'm listening to John Williams. Hello. And watching one of my favorite TV shows from when I was a kid. Yeah, I'm total. My dad was a sci-fi buff too, I think.
Oh,
both
really?
of us, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we read sci-fi.
Well, that's awesome. So I really hope that works out and you're able to make that sci-fi movie with Dan Yost, and then that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it would. And then, so then, my other would be fantasy adventure. I kill to be like in, X-Men, Marvel. Forget it. So cool. Or maybe I'll just have to find somebody and we can just make that type of films. Like I just watched The Witcher, the video game. That was a book in one of my boys. Have you seen The Witcher?
I didn't watch it yet. It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, dude.
It's good?
My son, yes. One of my boys, my little one, had played the video game. Now my big guys, because we all read, we pass books around, mailing them to the yard. Anyway, so he's like, we've got to get the book. We've got to read the original. I'm like, yes, let's go. So my oldest will read it, then it'll go to my second, then they'll send it to me. Yeah. Or
awesome.
However it goes around. Yeah.
Well, this has been awesome. I'm really happy that I was able to connect with you and chat with you. And because I grew up, I said, loving Meatballs. And now I have a few other movies I have to check out.
Yes, you do. You do your homework.
I will. I want to check Battle Creek Brawl out because I love Jackie Chan.
Yeah, no, it's the cutest movie. I don't even know. Because it's like all these things that we used to watch on DVD, or like I have a lot of my films that came out in DVD. Because of course, first they were 8-track, then DVD, and now it's like, what, where, who? I don't even have a player anymore.
Oh no, nobody has. But there's so many streaming services that you can find these movies are. Sometimes it's like a few bucks to rent them. Sometimes it's free, and you just have to watch ads.
Oh yeah, like Hulu.
Yep.
But can I just say something about Hulu? I don't mind the ads. Because it's not like a corporate pharmaceutical ad. The ads are hilarious on Hulu.
Yeah.
Like have you watched it? Like with the one with my favorite is the Apple one where the guy comes up from the beep and you hear the beep. You think your phone's going off.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love the ads on Hulu. They're great.
That's awesome. You're so awesome. You have such a good energy to yourself, and you even looking at some of your photos on IMDb and even remembering your character in Meatballs, you're always I don't know, you just have this this way about you. And now I get to talk to you, and that was pretty cool.
Well, and I thank you for having me on. Oh, so now I'm supposed to say something like, oh yeah, tell all of your listeners can find me on all my social media is at Kristine Debell, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Oh, no, not Facebook. No, Facebook is just my fan page.
Okay. No, what I'll do is I'll post the links to the other two in the episode, and then I'll send everybody your way to follow you and see what you're up to.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a great rest of your night, and thanks so much for taking the
Oh,
time.
you too.
and
absolutely.
memorizing that.
And thank you for having me on. What?
Yeah.
Oh, and memorizing. Yes,
Yes.
memorizing the code. I better know that for future podcasts.
All right. Well, have a great rest of your night. All right. So that was Kristine Debell. She was awesome. She was quite the character. It was a lot of fun talking to her. It felt like I knew her. She made me feel really comfortable throughout the whole conversation. And that was pretty cool. So I had a good time. It was really great talking to somebody that is in a movie that you grow up loving. I love Meatballs. Over and over again, VHS, we'd watch it growing up. So I do wish you would give Meatballs 3 a shot because, Mean Gene, our buddy Mean Gene, George Buza. But that's neither here nor there. That was cool. Make sure to follow her on all social media. She's on Twitter and Instagram, and it's all at Kristine Debell. I'll put her name in the notes. So you look at the episode notes. You can find her IMDb, and I'll put all of her social media handles so you can follow her. So your homework now, I mentioned it earlier, watch Samurai Cop 2. It is insane. Your ears are going to bleed. That's how awesome it is. I don't know if this is an awesome thing, but it's worth it. Trust me. Remember, it's free on Tubi. And don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Subscribe to us too, so you don't miss out on any awesome episodes that we have coming up. Trust me, there's a lot. During this whole coronavirus lockdown, a lot of people that we reached out to finally checked their emails and their direct messages on social media. And we have a lot of great content coming up and some just amazing conversations that I never thought a year ago when me and Jamie started this, that this would even happen. So yeah, so subscribe and check out our website, sequelsonly.com, and follow us on all social media at sequelsonly. Good night.